Veda Homes, villas that gives you happiness. Experience the expression of sophisticated living. Enter the unexpected. Veda Homes. Villas that match your taste. Charming life of clubhouse. Place that give you lifetime experience. Far from chaos, nearby peace. You thought we created. Veda Homes, abodes to adore.
Hello.
Oh yes, and that's Radha.
Wow, she's a real beauty.
Yeah, and she's a mini celebrity as well. She won a beauty pageant.
Really? What did she win?
She won a bucket.
A bucket?
Yes.
Well, I guess some pageant winners win tiaras and some have to make do with a bucket.
Warm welcome.
इस कमरे में क्या है?
So well, that's our library used by our Ayurvedic doctors and R&D team. Did you know our entire place is run on solar energy, and we have tried to kept it as simple as possible and as eco-friendly as it can be.
Should I take you through what's going on here?
Yes, please.
This is a process called Shaddhodkrit, in which we wash ghee over 100 times.
Oh.
It's an old traditional method for it to achieve a silken consistency that's easily absorbed by the skin. Isn't it amazing? Here we're preparing a decoction of cow's milk and herbs for our Bhringraj oil.
This is Bhringraj. Oh my God, I use so much of this that my kids wonder if I'm oiling my hair or using it to fry pakoras. Wow. This looks like my dream kitchen, to be honest.
You're right in a way. We're preparing food for the skin. But all our processes are done with a lot of care. The grinding, the churning, the pouring. This particular cream, for instance, is based on the ancient philosophy of Panch Mahabhutas, or something that appeals to all the five senses: the touch, the feel, the sight, the sound, and the taste.
I feel like I've stepped into a universe of wellness knowledge with a fierce focus on traditional techniques.
मैम ये कोल्ड मशीन है. थ्रू दिस वी एक्सट्रैक्ट ऑयल यूजिंग विदाउट एनी एक्सटर्नल हीट. एवरीथिंग इज हैंडमेड, सो द ऑयल हैज हाईएस्ट लेवल ऑफ न्यूट्रिएंट्स.
नमस्ते मैम.
Namaste.
प्लीज कम. हम यहाँ हमारे सोप्स की पैकेजिंग एंड लेबलिंग होती है, एंड बिफोर दे आर पैक्ड दे आर केप्ट टू क्योर फॉर 6 weeks.
Really?
Yes ma'am, as it enhances the quality of the product.
Oh, hello again.
Hi again, Twinkle. That's the Upton room. So here we use sun-dried ingredients, and later we hand-pound them, and we ensure that we make them in small batches to keep the freshness.
Just like the good old days, huh? What I experienced today is truly the luxury of purity.
Shall we start?
Yes, Ishita, go on, please.
Hello, everyone. I, Ishita Rana Khandelwal, committee member, Flow Indore, welcomes all the beautiful Flow women for today's session, Dincharya and Ayurveda. India is a land of miracles, and one of its most valuable gifts to mankind is Ayurveda, one of the world's oldest holistic healing systems. In Sanskrit, Ayurveda means the science of life. Dincharya forms an essential part of it and helps support our body and mind through daily activities. It enhances our strength both physically and mentally. In the year 2000, an Indian company, Forest Essentials, came into existence, which combines luxury with Ayurveda and believes in ethical product development. To give us an insight on the same, today we have with us exceptionally talented Dr. Shweta Netke. Ayurveda doctor, Shweta has a bachelor's of Ayurveda medicine and surgery and a diploma in Panchkarma. With her deep knowledge in the field, she imparts expertise as an Ayurveda expert at Forest Essentials stores. She has an experience of more than 8 years working with NGOs and clinics in Maharashtra. While working with the NGO, she served as the head doctor for the Mumbai region, treating more than 3,000 patients and successfully conducting 75 Nari Pariksha across the city. As an Ayurveda expert, Dr. Shweta reiterates the same beliefs as their brand that a healthy lifestyle can lead to a healthy mind and body. Doctor, it's an honor to have you with us today. Before we indulge into the world of Ayurveda, may I now request our chairperson, Riya Chhabra, to deliver her welcome address. Over to you, Riya.
Thank you, Ishita. A very good evening to all our dear members. I extend a warm welcome to you all for today's webinar. The month of July brought Flow Indore initiative of She the Boss. We all got an opportunity to interact and get acquainted with the professional expertise of many of our members. It was great to see such an enthusiastic response from you all. I would like to thank you all for making the concept She the Boss a great success. With the main motto of Flow, Power to Empower, our main aim has always been to generate livelihood for women's economic upliftment. Flow Indore, in collaboration with Hey Didi Foundation, has gone ahead in empowering 30 underprivileged girls of Indore. These girls will be trained in food delivery services with a short job after training, and even in this pandemic, they can start earning. This was all possible due to a huge support from our very own member Sadhana Todi and her NGO Helping Hands. A huge round of applause for our GB member and past chairperson Rekha Mehta, and for my executive committee members Payal Agrawal, Rachna Mittal, Kavita Gupta, Arpana Sabu for contributing in this endeavor. Now I would like to welcome our speaker for today, Dr. Shweta Netke, to enlighten us all on Dincharya. a daily routine that is absolutely necessary to bring radical changes in mind, body, and consciousness. Thank you.
Thank you, Ria. Also, dear members, please be ready for today's contest. Dr. Netke will ask questions during the session. Please post your answers in the chat box, and the first correct answer will win the exciting gift hamper from Forest Essentials. The winners will be announced at the end of the session. Now, without much further ado, I now hand over to Dr. Shweta to illuminate us regarding Dincharya and Ayurveda. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, everyone, for a wonderful introduction. I'm so glad to be here talking with all of you today. It's a pleasure and an honor, completely mine. So much further ado, I would like to start with a wonderful introduction. So, talking about the monsoon season. It's just on the brink of the monsoon, and the Dinacharya, basically the daily routine that I am going to talk about, revolves around how we can plan our lifestyle and our diet based on that. So monsoon season, immediately when you think of rain, a few lines come into my mind. The famous Kalidasa, the poet Kalidasa, always emphasizes in this Meghdut that how the flickering of the leaves, high-pitched, fall on the branches of the trees, crash against the rocks, and also how the water falls on the water, making a nice high-pitched sound. It remembers like the Venas in concert. It's a wonderful composition by Kalidasa, emphasizing that how monsoon season is always associated with a nice music to your ears. Also, we always wonder, like, we love our plate of hot pakoras and our ginger tea sitting by the window and enjoying the rains. I'm sure there is hardly any person who doesn't enjoy the rain. We all do. So basically, the nature has a routine. That is what nature. So the sun rises and the sun sets exactly at the same time. The moon has its own set of cycles. Every hour, every day, every minute is planned by the laws of nature. So do we really pay heed to what exactly nature is trying to tell us? Exactly tells us to follow the laws of nature in our daily routine. Basically, it teaches us to eat, sleep, and behave according to the laws of nature, so that our body, so that our mind is in sync with the changing season and we remain healthier throughout the year. And that is what exactly we are going to discuss today. So there is a very fine line between Dinacharya, which is a daily routine, and a daily habit, because we consider them as similar, but out of the daily routine cultivates a habit. We are overwhelmed now because of the lockdown. We are all inside, right? So we are trying desperately to manage our work, to manage our time, to manage our diet, our timings, but it becomes very difficult. And it is sometimes really overwhelming if I tell you to do 10 things in a day, right? It may not work for everyone. So the idea is to go slow. The idea is to basically understand what suits you, like, because you are special. Ayurveda always, you must be very well aware of how Ayurveda tells that each prakriti is different, how we are demarcated, how our constitutions are different as compared to other person. Like some few people, you'll see the hair is curly, some are straight, some has a color which is a little on the brown side, some are very fair. So then, like, this is basically because of the constitutions, what Ayurveda suggests, what we call is as prakriti, which is made by the basic three fundamental of the Ayurveda, which are the doshas, the Vata, Pitta, and Kapha. These three fundamental principles of Ayurveda constitute our body and our mind too. So mind is also very much paid attention to in Ayurveda, because there is no health without a conjugation of healthy mind, healthy body, and a healthy soul. That is also really important. So today, let us discuss about how specifically in the monsoon season we can take care of our body and behave accordingly, so that we keep at bay all the viral flu, we keep away the corona, of course, and of course pay attention to more of the details what we can inculcate. Right, so starting with that, also I would request if any you would like to sit with a notepad and a pen so that you can make notes quickly. If you find something relatable to you, you can just quickly write it down.
because I'm going to talk in a very comprehensive manner. I'm going to tell you about what we follow from morning to night, because it is easier to understand and then you can immediately relate. Like, for example, this needs to be included in my morning routine, for example. Then you can immediately just write it down, right? Okay, so starting, I would like to just introduce introduction of the monsoon season according to Ayurveda, because we need to understand what exactly the monsoon season brings. Yes, it does bring a lot of rain and it does troubles us with a very frizzy hair or dry skin, but it does also bring a lot of greenery around us. It also brings so many wonderful things. But yes, if we pay attention to our diet, we need to make sure that the food and everything is accordance with the monsoon season. We cannot eat the same food throughout the year. So it is really important to always concentrate on what we are having on our plates, at the same time what we are having as a lifestyle. So let us discuss further, starting with the morning, like what needs to do in this season. So first of all, I would like to tell you that among the three doshas, the Vata dosha is vitiated in this season. It is increased because of the dryness around you, the humidity around you. That's why it increases. That's why you experience a lot of frizz in your hair. And the other two doshas, the Pitta and the Kapha, are accumulated in the body, because all the human beings are made of all the three doshas. But always there is a balance and imbalance going on all these three. So in this particular season, the Vata dosha increases. That's why the whole idea of setting a routine around your diet and lifestyle is to basically control the aggravated Vata and plus not let the Pitta and the Kapha accumulate. So in general, if I just make it easier, the Vata is the air constitution, air and space. So we basically relate it to the Panchamahabhutas. So air constitution is the Vata. The Pitta is the fire element. It is what our digestive fire is. So in summer season, basically how the Pitta gets vitiated. So in monsoon, the Vata season. And Kapha is related to the water and the earth element, which is a little heavier element. So these three doshas constitute the five Panchamahabhutas, and exactly in the same manner, Vata dosha constitutes the air, and that's why we need to basically focus on reducing that air. Reducing that air means not having aggravated Vata dosha through our diet, our lifestyle, and also how we chalk out our routine around it. Right? So starting with the morning, let us, of course, right? So Vata dosha basically believes in regularity. How you can't control the air basically. You cannot catch the air in your hand. The same way, Vata people or Vata aggravation is difficult to control. And the only thing that can control Vata is regularity. If you behave in a certain manner every single day, you are able to catch the Vata. Basically because it loves regularity. Ideally, getting up at the same time every day in the morning is very, very beneficial in monsoon season. I can understand it's really difficult when the nice rain is falling outside and you want to snooze your alarm a little bit and have a blanket on your head and sleep for a while. But it is important that you wake up every day at the same time, because that really makes a very good impact in regularizing your routine. It starts your day wonderful on a good note and makes you feel fresh. Because ideally getting up around sunrise is good to control the Vata, because that part of the day is the Vata time. And that when you control, when you have that time in your hands in the morning, then you can plan your day ahead of you. So it definitely helps you in getting up in the morning on the specific time so that the Vata is controlled. Next, very important, I've seen people rushing out of the bed. I believe so every female in the house, all the flow members must be doing the same thing, rushing out of the bed because something in the mind is there that I have to plan this, that. So all these calculations are there in the mind all the time. But it is advised to just take a second for yourself. Just sit on the bed and do nothing. Just take that half a minute and absorb the light around you. Let that energy flow, and I always suggest to everyone, look at your palms when you get up in the morning. Then say your prayer. Any small prayer is fine. So I always love this prayer what my mother has taught me. Is kar madhe kar saraswati Karmulesh Govinda Prabhate Karadarshanam. So this is a wonderful prayer that I say, and then just move your hands gradually, slowly around your hands towards your waist. So it basically cleanses your aura. It is what basically you're trying to remove all the negativity and hoping that we have a wonderful day ahead. So it's a very good thing to start your day with. It energizes you. You can feel the difference actually when you move your hand around, you feel energy going through your body. So it's a wonderful way to start your day and then get up from your bed and start with your day. So it's a very good thing to always be thankful, always say a prayer when you get up in the morning and thank ahead for a wonderful day, plan ahead. So the next thing that we get out of the bed, and of course we do our brushing. So always it is good to have a brush with the softer bristles because our gums and teeth are not habitual to very strong kind of bristles. In olden days, they've always used the neem stick or the jeshtamar, the mulethi stick, which unfortunately we don't follow it nowadays. But it is a good habit to brush slowly with the soft bristles with the astringent toothpaste. It is also really important the toothpaste should not be ideally very sweet or like how salty. It is not really advised. It is a good habit to have astringent or a bitter taste in the toothpaste because it cleanses the mouth and removes any remnant kapha. So when we sleep in the night, the kapha accumulates in the mouth. That's why you feel sticky in the morning, right? When you open your mouth, there's a lot of mucus. So basically that is kapha accumulation because we sleep in the night. So the idea is to basically get out all the kapha from the mouth. And the next very important step Ayurveda stresses is doing a tongue cleaning, which we in a very hectic lifestyle really overlook it. But it is really important to do a tongue cleaning because Ayurveda believes that tongue is a mirror of your gut. It basically helps you to understand. So sometimes you find a coat of a white layer on your tongue. So that is a sign of unhealthy. It's a sign of that your stomach is upset or there are toxins in your body. What we call in Ayurveda is the ama. So that ama gets lodged on your tongue, and it is a good habit again to remove it by the tongue scraper. So again, tongue scraper, I just say there are several types. So most commonly, the steel tongue scraper is used. But according to, if we go in detail, then according to different doshas, you can use a different tongue scraper. For example, for Vata, where there is a dryness in the body, you can do it with a gold tongue scraper. With a Pitta, which is more of the fire element, you can definitely do it with silver. And for the Kapha, you can do with definitely a copper tongue scraper. And move it from behind to forward. Like in this position, just make it in this motion from back to forward, but don't overdo it till your tongue becomes really red. Just 7 to 10 strokes is good enough, and you're done for the tongue scraping. Right? So moving forward, after we are done with the cleansing of the mouth, it is really important nowadays, I would stress, because we are too much habitual into using our laptops, our phones, and our screens. So it is ideally very important to do an eye wash. We neglect the part of the eyes and causing a lot of strain on the eyes during the day, but we forget to take care of them. We really don't follow much of eye exercises. So it is a good routine to actually use an eye wash made specifically with a decoction of Triphala. So Triphala is a multi-herbal formulation in Ayurveda, which consists of Amla, Beda and Heda. So these 3 herbs is a mixture, and it is excellent soothing for the eyes. It is like a rejuvenator. It helps in giving you a good eyesight, and plus it removes the imbalance of the 3 doshas. So just make a decoction of the Triphala and wash your eyes with it in the morning. And do some just mild eye exercises, like looking from the top to bottom or side to side. So these wonderful exercises will help you strengthen your eyes and give a good fresh start to your day. So moving forward, so these kind of basically exercises help you in understanding that how important this minute details is. When you start doing these routines in your daily lifestyle, they really make a better impact. Moving forward, the next step is drinking a warm glass of water. It's most underrated thing nowadays because we are in the habit of drinking a normal temperature water, but warm water has wonderful benefits in Ayurveda. Even in a lot of illnesses and concerns, the warm water is set upon giving you so much of relief. Even with a little stomach upset, it is said to just include sip by sip warm water and your automatically your digestive fire corrects itself. So it is really important to include warm water as the first drink of water in the morning. It really makes your organs start. It starts secreting the digestive juices. It cleanses the imbalances in the stomach. It really has got multi-load of benefits in the morning. Another way of including oils. So oils are the most important thing stressed in Ayurveda, and there are a number of ways that so many acharyas in Ayurveda have asked to include oils. So there are ways like including nasya. Nasya is putting drops of oil in your nose in the morning, putting drops of oil in your ears, which are called as karnapuran, putting drops on your forehead or on your head. It's like Talapuram. So these all methods of including oil are very important. One such very important oil implementation is gaining very much trend nowadays is the oil pulling, which is called ideally as the gandush. So gandush is nothing but filling your mouth entirely with the oil, preferably the sesame oil in this season particularly, because the oils also change. We have number of oils around us, but choosing the right oil is also really important because it helps to balance out the doshas, also removes the toxins from your mouth and around your kapha region basically. So sesame oil should be held in your mouth and made it into a, like it should make a bulges in the cheek. It should be made fully filled up in your mouth area without gargling. So ideally it's not gargle, that is a different concept, but gandush is just holding it together until you can't hold it anymore. That is the sign that you have to spit it out. That oil pulling has so many wonderful benefits. It is something which helps to remove all the toxins, as I said. It helps to give you a good texture for the skin because you are holding your skin to the maximum. So it pulls on the muscles. It makes you feel light on the upper region. It makes you feel lighter. And plus, because of all the toxins which are removed, automatically you feel much fresh in the morning. So it's a wonderful therapy that you can include in the morning. Just the idea is to avoid it in the cloudy days or exactly when it's raining too much outside. Refrain from doing so because it will cause more kapha because of the rains. Right? So moving forward, the next step of after the gandush is again gargling with the warm water because the mouth will be coated with all the oil. So gargling is recommended with warm water and just spit it out. Just remove any remnant oil on your mouth surface. So this is basically about the gandush, which is the next step. Now coming on to a very important part, basically we always underestimate in the rainy season is because it's raining outside, it's okay if I skip an exercise. But it is important to exercise in moderate. In moderate is a very important in Ayurveda. Ardha Shakti Vyayam is recommended. So Ardha Shakti Vyayam is basically you have to do the exercise in the half quantity what you are supposed to do. So it is recommended that you should ideally if you do say 30 minutes of exercise on the rest of the year, Ardha Shakti Vyayam is doing only 15 minutes. Because too much exercise, too much rigorous exercise will cause the aggravation of Vata. Aggravation of Vata is caused by too much exercise, overexertion, stress, inclusion of all the dry foods, stale foods. So these basically cause a lot of Vata. And the exercise also is one of the most important factors. We don't pay much heed to the exercise part, but it is advocated to reduce the exercise to half a quantity so that you get the benefits. Otherwise, you are just lost on energy. Your vitality is lost basically, and then you are gasping for breath, and then you put a lot of food basically to fill that gap. That is not recommended in Ayurveda. So the Ardha Shakti Vyayam, and if you can include a lot of yogasanas at home, nothing like it. So very yogasanas also are advocated keeping in mind the monsoon season. So specifically like Paschimottanasana, Balasana, or even doing just the Surya Namaskars, like 7 Surya Namaskars to 12 Surya Namaskars, depending on the strength, you can definitely include in the morning. So that will help you to basically understand the Vata, how it moves around in the body and helps to calm you down, because they are slow exercises, they're not rigorous exercises. So that definitely helps you to balance and start your day on a good note. Post exercise, it is a good again routine to include pranayama. I'm sure many of us have started doing pranayamas. So pranayama is a wonderful technique again, specifically the pranayama, which is the anulom vilom, the alternate breathing of nostrils. You close one nostril, you breathe through one nostril and pull it out again through the other nostril. So this balancing of both the nadis, basically what Ayurveda suggests, is very, very useful in Vata concentration, in Vata balancing. So this pranayama is wonderful, or even just a meditation for 15 minutes in the morning makes your start of the day really wonderful. So definitely include these pranayamas, these meditative techniques as a wonderful start of the day. Next important is, I cannot stress enough of the benefits of a massage in this season. Massage, there are chapters and by the acharyas in the Ayurveda saying that how important it is to have a massage. I can definitely understand that this time is self-massage is very difficult, but a massage that you can do for yourself will have rather much benefits, like many benefits over the one who does it for yourself. When you do a self-massage, you basically are exercising at the same time, because you reach out to your feet, your back gets exercised. You reach out to your back, automatically your triceps and biceps get at work. So it is a wonderful technique to do a self-massage, and again I would stress with a sesame oil base or depending on the dosha. So BF Forest Essentials have quite a range of body massage oils. They are wonderfully curated with a combination of oils, not only sesame oil, but avocado oil, apricot oil. They have so many benefits, and when choosing the right one for you, that has multi-load of benefits. And plus, not forgetting about the wonderful essential oils. They are the one that makes you feel relaxed, because aromatherapy is a very, very crucial factor when the day is very gloomy and dull outside. So concentrating on the essential oils and the wonderful combination of oils, the body massage oils, when done correctly, leaves your skin nourished, leaves your skin healthy, also has so many benefits related to your skeletal system, to your nervous system, improvement of circulation, throwing out toxins through your sweat, embracing your posture, improving your gait. There are like so many benefits. I can go on and on about the benefits of massage, but it is very important to just do a quick 15 to 20 minutes of massage every single day, of course, if you can, but ideally, if you can't, I can understand. So just once or twice a week is a good time to indulge in a self-massage. Post that, a warm water bath is very, very beneficial. And plus, remember to not use any sulfate or paraben based soaps or body washes, because whatever oil massage you're going to do for your body, that should not go off with the soap, that should stay on your skin. So we at Forest Essential, that's why I have made so we have a variety of soaps, we have a variety of body washes. Specifically, we have made soaps with silk also. So that silk infusion gives a very, very silken texture to your body without ripping off the normal oils or without ripping off the massage oil that you have done to the body. Specifically, concentrating on the Panchamrit, we have one wonderful soap which is called as Panchamrit. It has got actual Panchamrit in it, with milk cream, yogurt, ghee, honey. So it extremely nourishes, even if you give it to the babies. It's so wonderful. Plus, we have a Nargis shower butter. That shower butter is a combination of super fatted shea butter and kokum butter both. So you can imagine the richness of the butter, that you can basically use it as a bath shower. You can just take a loofah and exfoliate in the circulatory motion. It gives you the pleasurable, dainty smell of a wonderful Nargis flower, the daffodil flower, at the same time cleansing your body and also nourishing it with the butter.
Dr. Shweta, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but can we have the questions also along with the segment so that, members can have their answers for that?
Sure, definitely. Okay, so coming then, the first question is, which pranayama did I suggest in the morning to be ideal post-exercise?
We have a lot of answers coming in.
Yes, I can imagine.
If we are ready, if we can take the second question as well, I think we can go ahead with that.
Okay. Sure. So, how many doshas are there?
I think everybody is loving this contest.
I can see with the answers. And it will be a very tough
Yeah.
for us to pick the best one.
Is the third question relevant for us to ask now?
And we'll ask it after I'm done with the morning.
You can continue, Dr.
Sure. Okay, so I can continue with the morning session.
Yes, please go ahead.
Wonderful. So, yes, we are almost done with the morning session. Just one thing, post bath also it is really important to nourish the body and to wear dry and comfortable clothes. It is very, very important. The clothes shouldn't be very damp because of the rainy season. There is a lot of chance that your clothes remain damp and may cause very, very high discomfort. And it is good. So actually in Ayurveda, it is mentioned to use perfumes. It is mentioned to use, not I would say body mist, but others have been mentioned. But we have a lot of options nowadays. We have deodorants, we have body mist, we have perfume, we have solid perfume. We have Forest Essentials have introduced a very lovely concept. So we have actually launched natural deodorants. It's a very, very unique concept. And our deodorants are completely aluminum free. The aluminum ones leave a whitish residue if you spray it on your body. They cause tingling because it has got alcohol, and they are also, due to many research around the world, are considered very harmful to the body. So we, keeping that in mind, have made them extremely natural. We have introduced natural ingredients like aloe vera, kasturi manjal. We even have put that the mineral zinc, a naturally derived zinc, which actually removes the toxins from the body which cause the body odor, because it's a very common problem in rainy season that you get because of the lot of humidity around you, you get sweating profusely. So these natural deodorants do not stop the perspiration because it's a natural body tendency, but they do remove the toxins which cause bad body odor without harming the skin quality. And ours are completely alcohol free. They are completely free of synthetic fragrances. There are no artificial colors, and there are amazing to wonderful fragrances in that. Lavender and neem and blood orange and cardamom. So you can imagine the very nice citrusy and a very nice soothing smell of lavender. So you can definitely check out on our website or in the stores. So moving forward, now let us go to the afternoon, because that is what basically we need to concentrate upon, because that is the time. I forgot to include the breakfast. Never skip breakfast, of course. But breakfast should not be too heavy, because the outside rain, our digestive fire becomes really, really slow, and we are unable to digest anything which is heavy, anything which is spicy. So the food should ideally be very, very moist. It should be light to digest. It should be having the taste of sweet, sour, and salty. That is what is recommended in Ayurveda, basically, because Ayurveda believes there are shadras. There are 6 rasas that should be there in your every meal. There are sweet, sour, salty, bitter, astringent. So these are all the shadras that are recommended in Ayurveda, and each of the taste are specifically balanced in the seasons. So in the monsoon season, it is a good thing to include the rasas of sweet, sour, and salty foods. So you will say salty, does it mean like fresh fries? Of course not. Salty is the thing that we can include in the form of rock salt or sandha namak. So these are the healthy salts. These salts basically balance the pitta and avoids the accumulation of them in the body. Breakfast can be again warm. Avoid any kind of dry foods. We are very, very used to having breads in the breakfast. We are having cereals. So it is not a good habit basically to include all this dry foods or stale foods in our breakfast. They should be freshly prepared. They should be warm when you're consuming them, and they should be very, very moist. So adding ghee to your breakfast is a wonderful way to balance the dryness in the body. Adding ghee to your every meal, I would suggest, like 1 teaspoon of ghee in your breakfast, in your lunch and dinner, is a great way to moisturize or to basically lubricate your body from inside to prevent dryness, and luteation of vata is also hampered. So moving forward, the next step is let us move towards the afternoon. Similarly, the same what I told you about the breakfast to not include. So these same things goes for lunch too. So you can avoid all the lentils. You can you can include all the lentils like split moong, whole moong. You can include all the dals, the moong dal, all the vegetables. Just avoid the green leafy vegetables because of the rain. It is not advised to have them. But you can definitely include the vegetables. You can definitely include the grains like wheat, rice, barley, oats are wonderful. You can also include an array of all the soups. It is a wonderful way to have warm, umptuous and moist food. And don't forget to add the ghee to your chapati or just a spoonful of it into the dal. But definitely, as I said, avoid anything stale, dry, which is not cooked fresh, ideally. So you can just avoid that. Taking a nap after lunch, because now we are home, we would definitely like to have some snooze after the lunch, but it is not recommended, unfortunately, in this monsoon season, because you're trying to balance the accumulation of pitta and kapha. So it is not recommended to have a nap. I know it is a bummer, but it is ideally not recommended because taking a nap in the afternoon causes that slump, which gives invitation to a lot of concerns. So it is basically not a good idea. I would say it is not a healthy option to have a nap in the afternoon. But yes, a concept called as Bama Kukshi, just lying on your left hand side for about 15 to 20 minutes is a good idea. But the idea is to just not doze off, not sleep for beyond that point, and just be active and just you can concentrate on your work or the things that you like. And afternoon time, because of the rains, I would also like to emphasize that don't let the water accumulate around your surroundings because of course the monsoon season is an invitation to a lot of insects and mosquitoes. So even in your planters, there is a water accumulation. Just make sure that they are dry and not much of water is stored in them. And we even have a mosquito repellent at Forest Essential that you can definitely use. It has got a natural citronella oil. It has got neem extracts. It is very, very safe for the baby's skin also. It's that milder. You can spray it throughout the day and you can definitely help to ward off the mosquitoes and insects around you. Right, so going forward, post-lunch, as I suggested, nap is strictly no-no. But during the lunchtime, I would like to give you a tip that you can include in this season is we always hear that having ginger before the lunch is a good idea. A pinch of ginger, like a small pinch of ginger, is good for digestion. It is good to have it as a pre-meal decoction. But in this season, a very useful tip is boil 1 glass of water with a whole coriander seeds and cumin seeds because we are trying to also negate the pitta accumulation. So having a boiled and cooled strained water of coriander seeds and cumin seeds before or during your lunch is a wonderful idea. That will also help to balance the juices, the secreting juices, the enzymes what are there aiding the digestion, and it will not let the stomach get upset. We always have problems of flatulence or indigestion commonly in the rains. So this definitely avoids all the issues, and it's a great way to include water. Because of the monsoons, we drink lesser water as compared. So because of the wonderful, nice taste, cooling taste of cumin and coriander will help to definitely add taste to your lunch and also will help you in the digestion. So do include that in your lunch, right? Yes. So I think it's a time for another question.
Yes, absolutely, Dr. Shweta.
Sorry.
You can go ahead with the question. Please do ask.
Oh, definitely. So the question is that which rasas did I mention to include in the monsoon season? Which of the rasas?
The answers are pouring in continuously.
Right.
You can carry on, doctor.
I can continue?
Yes, doctor.
Okay, wonderful. I can still see the answers for there are more than 100 messages. Wonderful. Okay, so moving forward, now let us go to the evening time, the time that we really look forward to during the day, that helps us to relax, to reconciliate, and also just take our feet up and relax. So evening time is basically a me time. Me time is most underrated time, specifically for females, because they have a lot on their mind. But I would suggest to always take that time out for yourself, to include some hobbies, or to do something that really pleases you. Let that time be a self-care time. Self-care means different things to different people. For some it is putting on a movie before dinner, or just soaking their feet in the water. For some, it is cooking. So I've seen a lot of people indulging in self-care by the way of cooking a nice elaborate dish. So there are so many different ways of self-care. So I would recommend that time as your own personal time. You can do your skincare. You can indulge in some nice incense sticks around you. You can put on some diffusers, which helps you relax and takes your day off. So there are a lot of ways that can actually relax in the evening. Strictly transfer yourself out of your work mode and shift it into the home environment. Keep away your gadgets for some time and then just go and absorb. If in the morning time it was too hectic for you to include meditations or pranayama, evening is a wonderful time because that is a vata time again. The evening from around 4 o'clock till 8 o'clock is a vata time. So that time is your again time to relax, to do pranayams, to do meditation, to do the things that you like. And it is always sets you in a very good mood in the evening, and plus helps you to de-stress and have a better sleep in the night. So lighting some diffusers of your choice is a wonderful idea, because that again aromatherapy is most stressed upon. We also have our range of wonderful diffuser oils which are pure cold pressed oils, nothing else in them. So you can light them, specifically the lavender or the pomegranate. These are like rose. Rose is a very nice calming rose fragrance that helps you to just go into the meditative mode. So lighting them, even our incense sticks are made with pure sandalwood powder. So there are a lot of knowledge about the incense sticks, that how they emit carbon and they are very harmful for the body. So ours are completely natural. They are made with sandalwood powder and rolled and hand rolled with ghee. So they do not emit carbon. They are wonderfully natural, and you can light them whenever you are thinking of doing a meditation or just trying to relax and watch a movie. So you can definitely go into that basically evening mode, or even there are a lot of people who light a diya. So lighting a diya or saying a prayer in the evening, as I said, of meditation is a wonderful thing to again relax. So we also have our Lakshmi Ji Puja oil, which is made with all these wonderful essential oils of camphor, of clove, of Bhimseni Kapur. So these basically induce positivity in you, and that is the time we need it the most after a hectic day. So definitely you can go for these wonderful techniques of relaxation in the evening and work around till your dinner time. So dinner again in monsoon season should be ultra light. When I say ultra light, think about khichadis. Like khichdis, you can imagine just 2 ingredients or just a little bit of spices in them. That is what Ayurveda says should be your dinner. Because in the night time already we are in the sleep mode and our digestive fire is the lowest. That's why it's a good idea to just include a few sauteed vegetables or a little bit of rice or a curry, not very spicy, or just a plain moong dal khichdi. Even including the urad dal is a very good dal for the monsoon season. You can make the khichdi with the urad dal also. So that, and don't forget to include the spices like cumin or little cardamom or cinnamon, because that will really help to build up the immunity. And because that is what we need basically now, the difficult times of Corona, we are trying this routine basically to help us acknowledge better how the laws of nature work. They are telling us that in monsoon season, ideally, we should follow this lifestyle habits or this diet so that we are not affected by outside changes in the environment. So these smaller details, like just a very small portion of dinner, very small portion of having the vegetables, which you can definitely digest early, because we are going to ideally be sleeping around 10 p.m. Now that is again one point which I would like to stress upon. Now that we are in lockdown, and we are, yes, gradually opening up the lockdown, but we are still homebound much, and we are like finding it very difficult to sleep on time. Ideally the sleeping time should be 10 p.m, around 10 p.m, I would say. So 10 p.m. is a very early time for us. That is our basically when we try and relax. But it is recommended as a sleeping time because that is a pitta time. Pitta time, the enzyme starts secreting digestive juices, and that is when basically all your food gets digested and transfers into a good rasa, that's what we say. That rasa is again very nutritious for the body. If we don't sleep on time, the hormones which are secreted, the digestive juices which are secreted, do not get a proper channelization. And then when we are active in the night, we watch a movie, we drink a cup of coffee, we watch or we do something on our laptops, we're too much addicted to doing something, some pending work. Unfortunately, that really creates a lot of problems in our sleep, in our digestion. So it has very hampering benefits. And I would say it is a good habit to always sleep on time. Just how I was telling you in the morning to wake up on time. Again, sleeping on time is most important because of the regularity. What I was telling you about the Vata, it is really important. Okay. Again, Ria, you want to take a few questions?
I'm sure everybody is waiting for that too.
Okay. Okay, so what foods did I recommend for the dinner?
So, Doctor, you can carry on. I think the answers will keep pouring in.
So yes, it's almost night time now. Only like what you can do is a limited options. So before sleeping, 2 things I would like to stress upon is post your dinner, don't forget to take care of your skin. During the day, we are in a hurry and sometimes we do forget to indulge in skincare. But it is important that you take off your day from your face. It is important in the monsoon season to even double cleanse. That's why our products at Forest Essentials are always targeted on giving you multi benefits. For example, our Advanced Saundarya Serum works as a wonderful moisturizer plus as a cleansing oil too. So you can basically take a few drops of Saundarya Serum and nicely massage it in an upward and outward manner. So it's basically you're doing a facial at home. And then post the massage, you can use a Upton. So these are the wonderful hand-pounded organic scrubs that we make out of cashew nut paste, pistachio paste, and wonderful ingredients which are hand pounded to perfection, and then you can just gently scrub them off. So it instantly reveals a very softer skin, and because the Saundarya Serum has 24 karat gold in that, so it absorbs into your skin, leaving a natural glow. So it's not like makeup, an artificial, superficial one, but it is a deep-rooted glow that you definitely get post using it every day on your skin. So these are a wonderful, and plus due to dryness, which is a very common issue, there are hydrating serums available with us, which is a rasa activating serum and Tejal balancing water. So these duo is a wonderful combination of natural hyaluronic acid and natural glycolic acid that we derive from sweet potato. You'll be very amazed to hear that the sweet potato can give us so many natural acids, and we derive them from these hyaluronic acid and glycolic acid that you can include it in the day routine. Basically, when you are done with your bath, you can just take a few drops, just massage it lightly and tap it on the face. That will help you to have a wonderful texture for your skin. The natural hyaluronic acid will plump your skin, and the glycolic acid will also give you a brighter skin. And we also have put again a multi herbal formulations like aloe veras, like blue lotus, like nag kesar. There are priyangu seeds. There are like so many wonderful Ayurvedic herbs that you can definitely include in your skincare routine. Don't forget, again, very important part is to take care of the hair. Hair is something which also takes the maximum harsh of the monsoon season. That is why it becomes so much frizzier. So the idea is to include oiling like frequently. If you are doing the oiling once a week before in the another season, in monsoon season is it required to do it twice or thrice if you can. And ideally a warm oil massage. So just indirectly how we basically melt chocolate. This is the way of indirect heating. So same way, in a small katori, take the oil and heat it on the water, hot water, and gently massage it onto your scalp. So our Bringraj has got the oils of castor oil, of sesame oil, of coconut oil, along with the Bringraj herb. So Bringraj is considered as food for the hair. It is called as Keshraj. So that Keshraj helps you tackle all the hair issues like dandruff, like hair fall. It also helps in regrowth of the hair. It helps in preventing early graying of the hair. So this Bringraj, and plus we have a very unique ingredient in that you cannot imagine, is something like a goat's milk. Yes, goat's milk is extremely nourishes. It is put as a part of the oil, and it nourishes your scalp so much that actually it helps in nourishing the scalp and helps in regrowth of the hair. So this wonderful hair oil, you can include it thrice in a week if you can, and then wash it off with a sulfate and a paraben-free shampoo. Using a hair mask is again a wonderful option, because again, as I'm emphasizing again about the frizziness and the dryness that comes with the monsoon, this hair mask has got ingredients like banana pulp, methi, which helps in softening, methi seeds. So methi seeds again give a wonderful shine and texture to the hair. And plus this is a rich creamy mask. You just need to put it for about 30 to 40 minutes before your shampoo. And if you can just put a shower cap on top of it, and then wash it off with a mild shampoo. Instantly your mane will be blessing it. It will become very softer. It will have that natural shine because of the methi seeds, and will remove instantly all the frizziness and the dryness from the hair. So I would recommend you definitely to try the hair mask in this season. Now, the another important point that I would like to tell you, and is the most neglected part, are our hands. Because of the sanitization frequently, because of washing them frequently for 20 seconds, our hands have become extremely dry. So I would want you also to do it along with me, some beautiful hand massage. So I hope everyone is ready with the oils that they are going to do a massage with. Ria, you want to take a question before that?
Are we done with 4 questions?
Yes, I think so. We are done.
Yeah. So that's it. Yes.
Okay. 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 So then let us move ahead to a hand massage. So I have with me a wet cloth. You can just wipe your hand with this cloth so that your hands become damp and they absorb the oil better. So removing any extra oil or any extra dust or anything will help in absorption of the oil to the maximum. Remove any rings or any bracelets in your hand, because as we're going to do a massage, it will come in between and may trouble you. So take any hand cream of your choice. I have with me a wonderful Absolute Rose. It's my favorite fragrance for essential. So take a little cream on your hands. And you can add any oil of your choice, any cold pressed oil, just a few drops, because it helps in giving you a gliding of the hand. It helps to nourish also, and plus it helps your hand easily glide through. So just apply it evenly till your elbow. Yes. And in between the fingers, don't forget the webs of your fingers. Yes, let us start. So concentrating first initially should be your palm region. They are the most stress-taking part of the hand, and a lot of times the discomfort happens on the pads. There are a side of discomfort. So ideally we will start with the pads of the palm. So with the thumb of the another finger, start massaging gently in a circular motion. Like this, you can see the base of the thumb. I'm just applying a little pressure. Should not be too much pressure, but a gentle pressure that you're comfortable with, and in circulatory motion, just move on the pad of the palm. Move your thumb to the another finger and massage the base of the finger in again a circulatory manner. Move over to the middle finger. You can feel the pressure slowly building in your hand. It feels relaxing even when you're doing it. Moving on to the ring finger. Let the pressure be constant when you're doing it. And to the last finger and to the side. Again, let it be in a clockwise circulatory fashion, so that you are removing any discomfort or any toxins or any strain that your hands have gathered. You can repeat it if you wish to, and then bring it in the middle. The middle of the palm is the most important place. Just press it a little bit and release it. Press and release. You can feel very relaxing. You can feel that it helps to relax your hand. Just press and release. Now coming to the part of the web of the fingers, right? So just with your index finger and your thumb, just apply a little pressure and pull. Apply a little pressure and pull. Let your fingers glide, because your hand is having the hand cream and the oil, so automatically it will be easier to pull it. So just make action like this and just pull it and pull and pull. Repeat it if you wish to. Just pull the part between your fingers, because that is a place where even the dryness creeps in, because the hands remain damp for most of the time. So you can repeat it. Coming on to the fingers. Now very, very important. You can sometimes hear a cut sound when we had worked a lot of time on the laptops or during the day. So just again with these two fingers, or even if you're comfortable, you can make fingers like this and pull. So you can feel the bony part. When you're doing this, let the pressure, right? You can just pull the fingers and glide it through the tip. Just pull the fingers. Apply a little bit pressure, because here it will be required a little more pressure as compared to the palms. You will feel now that is a difference in the hand. You will feel much relaxed. You can do it like this also, as I said. You can just bring it to the hand, and also the cuticles. Don't forget the cuticles. These are also the dry areas due to the sanitizing often. So you can just apply a little bit of cream or oil on the cuticle part. Moving towards the wrist. So wrist should be massaged really delicately. There should be just a little pressure, again in a circulatory fashion, concentrating on the bones. And now just glide your hand through the elbow, pull it down. If you feel that the hand has become dry again, the hand has absorbed the oil of the cream, just take a little bit of cream or oil again and just massage. Just glide your hand through, keep it on top of another, just glide it, cup your elbow, concentrating on having a massage towards the heart. Always the circulation should be improved, so that's why your massage should go upwards, right? Concentrate on applying a little pressure while you're going up and then cupping the elbow and bringing it down. Cupping the elbow, bringing it down. Yes, you can again massage little fingers if you feel like. And then when you're done, just tap it. Let it know it's done. So that the oil and the cream gets absorbed really nicely. And I'm sure you must be feeling really wonderful and relaxed.
Absolutely. It was amazing. Amazing techniques you have shown us today.
I am really glad because the hands are the most troubled parts of the body right now. So definitely I would recommend doing it every day in the evening. That's the time we have a little bit of time on our hands before we sleep, or in the evening, as I said, it's like a time to relax and self-care. So that time definitely you can include this hand massage.
That's wonderful, Dr. Shweta. Thank you, Dr. Shweta, for educating us about the benefits of Dincharya and the blessing that Ayurveda is to us. Dr. Shweta, I would like to add something, the mantra that you said in the beginning, that whenever you start your day and
Yes.
absorb all the positive light and the positive energy. So
Right.
as far as I remember, I've been practicing that every day, like since I get up in the morning.
That's wonderful.
Bhagi Saraswati Karmulecha Govindam Kar Prabhati Darshanam.
Yes.
It's been amazing.
Yes, it really puts your day ahead in a good mood. It makes your start of the day really well.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. Dr. Shweta, would you like to add something else? Would you like to inform a member?
I am done with mostly the routine. As I said earlier also, that following a wonderful routine helps you to create a habit. It is something which makes a lifestyle for you. And doing that lifestyle, I know it can be overwhelming. Doing gandush also, massage also, hand massage also, this, that can be overwhelming. But I would always suggest you to go slow. Go week by week. Try to include one habit at a time. For example, if you're planning your to-do list for the next week, include one star mark in your to-do list. For example, I'm going to include Anulom Vilom for 10 minutes and then gradually build up that habit every single day. The next week, do the second star and add another khichdi recipe, for example. So then you can gradually add up and make it more easier on yourself, because it can be, as I said, too overwhelming if I tell you this many things and you have to follow too many things. But at the end, I would like to tell you, don't forget to wear those gumboots and just jump in the rain. It is required for the soul. It is required to keep yourself happy. I know a lot of diet restrictions, lifestyle restrictions, but don't shy away from having that plate of pakoras and getting drenched in the rain for that day. And then you can definitely see the pleasures, how in Ayurveda way, I would say.
Yes, that's really great, Dr. Shweta. And all the practices that you've mentioned, certainly makes us live a much healthier lifestyle. I must.
My pleasure.
Dr. Shweta, during your session, our members have been posting a lot of questions, and
Right.
on the chat window, and they're eagerly waiting to know answers from you. May I now begin the question answer segment, where I will be taking them one by one. Our first question is very much curated especially for the monsoons. What are the remedies for dry, frizzy and rough hair?
Dry, frizzy and rough hair. The idea, as I said, is to have a balanced diet with ghee. So that also really is important to moisturize from inside as well as outside. So for the dry and frizzy hair, we have specially a hair oil called as Japapati, which contains the hibiscus extracts. So hibiscus along with coconut and sesame oil is wonderful to nourish the dry hair strands and also is good to condition the hair. So it has got a wonderful properties to smoothen out the hair. And as I said when I was explaining about the hair care, is to add a hair mask. We shy away from using that because it seems like a very difficult thing on our hands, but we have a pre-made hair mask that you can definitely include once a week. I know sometimes you're pressed on time, so including both hair oil and hair mask can be very troubling, but you can use them together. So on the scalp, you can put a Japapati hair oil, and on the length of the hair, you can add the hair mask. So both the things will definitely soften the hair, remove the frizz, and taking care of the internal moisture along with warm food with ghee in the body. Being mindful of how our lifestyle is not affecting that, sleeping on time, these also really make a greater impact.
And the Japapati hair mask, it says that you should also add one egg in it and frisk it and then apply.
Yes. With people who are comfortable, they can definitely add an egg. Or with people who have a dandruff issue, specifically in monsoon season, they can also add 1 tablespoon of yogurt to it. And it really helps to give the relief.
And Dr. Shweta, today only my package arrived from Forest Essentials, and I ordered this hair vitalizer, Bringraj, especially for the monsoon, and it was very much needed.
Because what happens is, Ishita, we don't really oil our hair every day. Yeah. And that skin at least a routine. We have a CTM routine to follow, but hair unfortunately gets a drawback. So then this vitalizer you can spray every day on your scalp. So some nourishment in the form of Bringraj, green tea, aloe vera, these extracts go into your scalp, and the nourishment that you require on a daily basis really comes through.
Wonderful. Wonderful, Dr. Shweta. Moving on to our next question. Can Triphala be taken on a regular basis, and which food items qualifies in the category of astringent and pungent?
Right. So yes, first question, Triphala can be, ideally it should be taken on a daily basis. That is how it works as a detox medicine. Actually, if you take it in a very large quantities, it acts as a laxative. But if taken in a medium quantity, like initially I always recommend to start it with 1 tablet or like half a teaspoon of Triphala powder, and see how your next day motions are. And then gradually you can build up. But I would not suggest to take it 2 tablets even if you're looking for more of a detox. And it is supposed to be had only just before bedtime. Like when you're going to step it on your bed, at that time with half a glass of warm water. So that's why it helps in the absorption of the Triphala. And Triphala, if I sing a song about Triphala, it is like good for eyes, it's good for hair, it's good for skin, it's good for detox. It has like so many benefits. And the other question, the astringent and the pungent foodstuffs. So pungent, it's not a rasa. Astringent, yes. Astringent qualifies for the taste that is a little amla. If you see the taste of amla, that is something which is the astringent taste, and they really help to balance the pitta imbalances. Pitta imbalances are caused by spicy, oily, too much heat-inducing foods. So this astringent quality really helps to cool down the pitta. And amla is a wonderful astringent. Even the gourds, like if you see kaddus, the gourds and the like bottle gourds, these come in the astringent variety.
Wow, wonderful. Dr. Shweta, I would now request you to announce the lucky winners from today's Forest Essentials contest.
Sure. So first question winner is Aditi Agarwal.
Wonderful. And the others? Dr.
Second question winner is Roma Mandana.
And for the last 2?
The last is Sonali Sachdeva.
Okay.
There should be one more.
Yes, sorry. Nitika Saluja.
Congratulations to all our lucky winners, Aditi Agarwal, Roma Mandana, Sonal Sachdeva and Nikita Saluja for today's contest, and the gift hampers will be delivered at your doorsteps. I now call upon our Junior Vice Chairperson, Payal Agarwal, to deliver her vote of thanks. Over to you, Payal.
Thank you, Ishita. Ma'am, before starting, I must admit that the massage therapy you have demonstrated is fantabulous. It has actually relaxed us only in a short while. Hita hitam, sukham dukham, ayutasya hita hitam. Manam cha tach yatroktam, ayurvedaha sa uchyate. It means that the holy science, which contains the details of healthy and long age, and which defines what is good and what is bad concerning different conditions of diseased or healthy life, is Ayurveda. Payal Agarwal, Junior Vice Chairperson, Flow Indore Chapter, take this opportunity to extend vote of thanks for this knowledgeable webinar. Ma'am, you have shared a treasure with us. We are grateful, enlightened, and are truly in a state of bliss after listening to you. The concept of Dinacharya with Ayurveda will definitely help us to support a life of optimum wellness through routine and establish balance in our daily life. And in support of the motto, vocal for local, these methods and products should be handpicked for efficacy and optimal potency. We again thank you for imparting this knowledgeable webinar to us. Also, I would like to extend a special thanks to our interns from our IT team, Daksh Porwal and Harsh Tonde from Acropolis Institute, our patron sponsors, DP Jewelers, Linen and Things, Raj Suzuki, Veda Homes, creative and digital partners, iMast. Many thanks to our enthusiastic members for being so participative always. On 28 June, we will get to meet yet another magnetic personality, Vidya Balan. So please don't miss the coming up event. Goodbye for now. Take care and have a nice day, everyone. Thank you so much.
Thank you.